and a very good afternoon, and welcome to the afternoon broadcast. As we're just settling in, and welcome us all into this, and a very good afternoon, and welcome to into the afternoon broadcast. As we're just settling in, I say good afternoon and welcome. We're just going to start the program in just about a few minutes. And I'd like to say this particular edition of this broadcast, today, the 22nd of October 2021, is to also respond back to the federal government of Nigeria. My name is MALAMI Koiki, and I say good afternoon and welcome once again. We're going to be starting the program in just about a few minutes. But let us remind ourselves that I'm sure as the news is breaking out of the release of Lady K and also Oladele, there's also another news that is coming out of Abuja that we need to respond to. So we do not waste as much time. We just getting the rest of the platforms ready for this afternoon broadcast. Mo kí gbogbo wa tí a ti láǹfààní àti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní ọ̀sán yìí níbikíbi tí ẹ bá ti fẹ́ máa gbọ́ wa tí ẹ fẹ́ máa wò wá. This particular broadcast today, as much as millions of us are celebrating the release, but that is not the area I want to touch on, because the federal government of Nigeria, a terrorist government that have now, I'm sure some of you must have seen the headline, but let's first play. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome to 22nd of October 2021. I welcome you as you are joining the broadcast, and I say good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what part of the globe you're joining us from. If you've been following the headline coming out of Nigeria, this is probably what you're going to be reading. For those of you that are not aware, I'm sure some of you must have seen those headlines, and that is why, as a spokesman for Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, I'm going to be discussing this, and I'm also going to be responding back to the federal government. Once again, these are the headlines linking our own father, uncle, the man that wants freedom for his people, that has now also been linked with Boko Haram. So if you're just joining us, I say you might want to sit down properly so that we can analyze these latest press statements by the Attorney General of the Federation, that has just said that according to their report and according to their findings, they've now been able to link Chief Sunday Adeyemo, our own hero, to fundings, transaction coming into his account. But it's not just about that alone. This also shows how every sons and daughters of Yoruba land have been disrespected. And I'm going to be telling you some of the reason why. For some of you that must have come across this headline that is now filtered through every newspaper across Nigeria. This was just a press statement from the Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Justice, ABUBAKAR Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, today, Friday, have disclosed that the report on sponsors and financiers of the Yoruba Nation activist, Sunday Adeyemo, known as Sunday Igboho, and his associates, has identified a federal lawmaker in the National Assembly as not just the sponsor of Igboho's separatist activities. Malami also said, according to the report we have here, revealed that Igboho is the owner of Adesun International Concept Limited, through which a total sum of 127 million was received by Igboho from his financiers between 22nd of October 2013 and the 28th of September 2020. A total sum of 273 million transaction outflow was recorded from Sunday Igboho's account between the 15th of March 2013 and 11th of March 2021. The report found connections of financial transaction between Adesun International Concept Limited and some construction companies and businesses, among others. It disclosed while addressing a press conference on investigation report on act of terrorism and allied offense perpetrated by Nnamdi Kanu, and report on the sponsors and financiers of Sunday Igboho and his associates. He said, investigation revealed that Adesun International Concept Limited transferred the sum of 12,750,000 naira to ABUBAKAR and Sons, a company under investigation. I want us to just keep in mind some of these headlines. When you come to Sahara Reporter, Nigerian government identifies Sunday Igboho sponsor disclosed how millions of naira were pumped into his account. The most important thing as Yorubas that we need to understand is this is a total insult to every single one of us. And I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why I said, and let me come back to the full screen. I'm sure some of us reading that we start asking different questions and we start putting one or two things together. And I'm going to give us as much of all the breakdown. The first question I need to ask the Attorney General of Federation is it now a crime to run a business? Is it not a crime to set up a company in Nigeria to transact business? The federal government is giving us the impression now that as Yorubas, we cannot run transaction in millions of naira. But we can have Dangote and also BU Limited that has been given the super right in Nigeria of today. So that means a man that runs a business of his own, that runs transaction in the tune of whatever figure, has now been labeled as having a link to the same people that is fighting against. The federal government pointing finger that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, from this press statement coming out, that Igboho has 43 bank accounts across 9 banks. That according to Malami, the committee set up by the Nigerian government has unraveled how Igboho got money. So this now shows that the Hausa Fulanis is telling every sons and daughters of Yorubas around the world that you cannot run a business in the tune of millions. And the only individuals that have the super right to run such businesses are individuals like the BUA Group and his sister company, Aliko Dangote. My question now is, where did Aliko Dangote got his money from? How did Aliko Dangote become the super rich billionaire in Africa? Do you know the reason why? Because Aliko Dangote, a Fulani man, has been given more rights than somebody like Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho that was just running his own private business. Chief Sunday Igboho has not taken any loan from the Central Bank of Nigeria. He has not approached the Central Bank of Nigeria for Forex. But when you look at somebody like Aliko Dangote, that we have been given the impression that he is a Nigerian business magnate and a monopolist. He has been given the right to almost everything that you can think of, whether importation, whether it's the cement. This shows that those of you still thinking that the fight that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho is fighting is about him or himself or his family. The federal government was giving us the impression that because Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho that set up a company in Nigeria in 2013 or thereabout, has not just been linked to one of the most terrorist individual that has been sentenced in UAE. If we remember, in 2019, a court at the United Arab Emirates told us that 6 Nigerians have ties to Boko Haram. United Arab Emirates put 6 Nigerians. Do you now know that the federal government of Nigeria has now linked one of these individuals to Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho? And this is why we are saying that being together as Nigerian, we are already being marginalized as Omodudua, as Omoluabi, because the government of Federal Republic of Nigeria by President Muhammadu Buhari and those that have run it before him has given more preference to the Fulanis and the Hausas in that country. So if anybody is seeing this headline now, will start thinking, wow, so Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho has so much money that was coming through his account. But the question you should ask yourself is, where did he acquire his wealth from? What was his business or the business of those before him? So, one thing we must understand is, we are already being entrapped in Nigeria. When you look at this man now, Alhaji Abdulsamad Rabiu is a prominent Nigerian businessman, but a Yoruba man cannot be a businessman to the tune of 127 million naira or in the tune of 200 million naira. He founded BU Group in 1988 and serves as the chairman of board and chief executive officer. BU Group is now one of the most important diversified group in Nigeria. Why is he? I'm talking about this man that you're looking at his picture as against this man. So what gives this man less privilege to this man right there? Why is it that the Hausa Fulanis that we have complained, we have talked about, it has now shown that the Attorney General of the Federation, a Fulani man, is telling us that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, popularly known as Igboho Osha, set up a company. He has his wife as the director. Is that a crime? He has one of his relatives as the director. Is that a crime? But the crime now is they are now linking him of his own company with a terrorist organization, individuals that have now been sentenced in UAE, known as Abdul Suraj Abubakar Muhammad. This is the individual that the Attorney General of the Federation has linked Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho with on a press conference from Abuja today. The AGF says that they have now found information that investigation revealed that a company that was set up in 2013 by Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho transferred the sum of 12 million naira as well to ABUBAKAR and Sons. Who is ABUBAKAR? I've been able to do a bit of quick search. It's a company that was registered in 19th of November 2014. ABUBAKAR and Sons. What do we know about them? What does this company do? Who is who are those behind this company? ABUBAKAR and Son was incorporated in Faj local government, Nigeria, with registration number 2323328. It was registered on the 19th of November 2014 and its current status is unknown. The company registered office is number 628D2. In Kano State, Faj local government. Who are the owners and the directors? Abdullahi Usman Umar is the director of the company that the AGF, the Fulani man, has told us coming here that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho did a transfer of the tune of 12,750,000 naira to ABUBAKAR and Sons. Not just that alone, the AGF, a Fulani Hausa man, has also told us that there is a link. It might be recalled that ABUBAKAR and Sons and his promoter Abdullahi Umar Usman are suspect in the ongoing joint terrorist financial investigation of Abdullahi Umar Usman is by a way of financial transaction connected to Suraju Abubakar Muhammad, who has been sentenced to life imprisonment in the United Arab Emirates on charges of financing terrorism of Boko Haram. And I kept asking myself, since this information has come out, that why now, as the federal government of Nigeria waited since all this while to give us this information? This report shows the nexus between the separatist agitation, terrorism financing, disruption of peace in the country. The report found connections of financial transaction between Adesun International Concept Limited that belonged to Chief Sunday Igboho and some construction companies and businesses, among others. So my question to every single one of us watching us this afternoon is, how come that the federal government of Nigeria decide to wait all this while when millions of Nigerians were asking, who are the financial sponsor of Boko Haram? Where is the Boko Haram getting their money from? Where are they doing the transaction that the government was unable to locate and tell us? But Malami is now coming out today, 22nd of October 2021, to tell not just Nigerians, but they are passing this message to the international community that this man that you are looking at, that has been held because we want him to be held at Benin Republic, is not the person that you are thinking he is. He's a different man. This is the word of the federal government. Because if you think that the message coming out today is being directed to the African countries or the Nigerians, they are sending a signal to the international community to tell us that this man also have been receiving money from Boko Haram. And when we talk about Boko Haram, we all know the effective damage, the collateral damage that Boko Haram has done in the lives of millions of Nigerians. So does this mean now that the federal government of Nigeria is taking this now to a different link by giving the international community that as much as you might be interested in the case of Chief Sunday Igboho that is currently being held in Benin Republic, we can also tell you that this is not just an ordinary businessman, because he has link of financial money coming from terrorism, Boko Haram. And for those of us that might not understand the implication of what the government is playing out now, I will just try and explain to you in my own little understanding. The federal government of Nigeria now understand. Yeah. Okay, it's okay. The magnitude of not just Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, but also of Nnamdi Kanu, and likewise those that want self-determination to opt out of Nigeria. So the federal government is now trying to do everything possibly best to label Chief Sunday Igboho as someone that has link with Boko Haram. Is that not interesting that a government that was unable to track down Boko Haram, to tell us who the financials of Boko Haram, is now telling us that according to their 23 men committee and women committee, that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho has money moving from his account. My question then is it not a crime that Chief Sunday Igboho was able to set up a business just like many other sons and daughters of Omoluabi and also the rest of the ethnic groups as well, to run a business, a whole private business, as to compare to people like Aliko Dangote that has bigger stake from the Central Bank of Nigeria. This is a total insult to every one of us that the Hausa Fulanis have now taken this conversation to a different level entirely. You might say it's got nothing to do with you, but this is more reason why we need to separate from this country called Nigeria. Let us first say, this was a video of, again, a liar, a man that could not come out on a public discourse to say that Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, rendition from Kenya. And you saw everything that played out yesterday. But our focus is on Chief Sunday Igboho, but I just want us to understand who this man is. They are now either playing pranks by telling Nigerians that, look, that Chief Sunday Igboho, the one fighting for Yoruba nation, has link with Boko Haram. The same man that is fighting the Boko Haram. Let's hear what Chief Sunday Igboho said during one of his interviews while I was in Nigeria in March this year.
Àwa béèrè òmìnira fáwọn fámìlì wa pé pípa tẹ̀ ń pa wá tẹ̀ ń ṣe yamayama yìí ti tó àwa làwa ń dẹ́rù bà. Àwọn kan náà wọ́n kọ́ lè wé sí báyìí ní ìsìn náà tó ń béèrè bílíọ̀nù lọ́wọ́ ìjọba Nàìjíríà. Ṣé wọ́n dìgbà tó bá kọ́ àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n ń bí tá a wà láti jáde ní enough is enough.
My question is, could it be something that a man that is fighting the same terrorists, terrorizing his people in the southwest, that the politicians have kept muted, the governors are not talking, the senators have kept quiet, the House of Representatives have kept quiet, the past and the present Yoruba politicians are not saying anything, is now the one that the federal government is telling every Nigerian at home today that they've been able to identify the sponsor of Igboho. Let me come back and ask the question. Is it now a crime to have run a successful business in Nigeria? Is it now a crime that Chief Sunday Igboho, that was running a business just the same way Abdulsamad Rabiu was running a business, that we do not know what business he was running? I'm talking about this man. And just like what Dangote was running as well, when you talk about some of his businesses. Currently, we know that Dangote and Central Bank of Nigeria are party government. Dangote, tí ẹ̀ ń wò báyìí, àǹfààní tí maybe you've been lost in transaction with the conversation. In terms of sọ̀rọ̀ ni pé Chief Sunday Igboho, federal government, Attorney General of the Federation, wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ti mọ̀ pé Sunday Igboho ó wà link pẹ̀lú Boko Haram sponsor. So àwọn tó ń dáwó, tó ń fọ́ǹdì Boko Haram, tó ń pa àwọn èèyàn ní Nàìjíríà, tó jẹ́ number 3 when it comes to the most terrorized country in the world. Tí British sọ pé ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ sí ìlú state méjìlá nínú Nàìjíríà. Attorney General of the Federation is now saying that it is linked to Boko Haram. Is it a way to derail this movement? Is it another way that the federal government of Nigeria, is it another way to tackle us with the international community? To tell the international community that, look, as much as they are agitating for self-determination, which is our right, but the man behind this self-determination, known as Chief Sunday Igboho, has link with this man, Suraju Abubakar Muhammad. Am I communicating? What is being played behind? What is the federal government now trying to pull out? Are they trying to pull out a stunt? Are they trying to tell us now that since you are all saying you want to leave Nigeria, but we will make sure that we tarnish the image of your main hero. We will make sure that we label him. We will make sure that we put his name out there as not just the enemy of Nigeria, but also the sponsor of Boko Haram, as link with Chief Sunday Igboho. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand what that means? That the federal government, the Attorney General, a man that cannot give us the names, the sponsor of Boko Haram, but now they've been able to come up together with 23 man committee and say, we find out the sponsor. And if anybody is looking at the figure of this transaction, my question is, what is the transaction of a business that Abdulsamad Rabiu, a Fulani man, is operating? What is the transaction between Dangote's account? How many people is Dangote transaction with? In your mail only Dangote and Bashe business around the world. So now, Chief Sunday Igboho cannot do business by doing transaction with people, but rather the federal government is now telling us that no. He was not just doing business. He was getting money from those that were also sponsoring Boko Haram. Do you see the insult? Do you see the insult that they put on every one of us? The federal government of Nigeria is now telling you as a Yoruba man that you do not have the right to operate a business in billions of dollars as against their two Fulani brothers, Dangote and also Aliko Dangote, so that I can put his full name there, and Abdulsamad Rabiu. So, Sherikpe, those of you still trying to keep one Nigeria, you must start thinking. You must start asking yourself questions. That, so, Tibate need 200 million. Timo operate business. So, moment Tibate need 200 million here is a big offense to the federal government. It's a big offense to the Fulani and the Hausas. What can be the tone of transaction for those of you that are watching, that this man will be transacting in a day, in a month, in a year, since he has set up his business in 1988? To what tone of amount do you think Abdulsamad Rabiu Lumama transact? What do you think the transaction of Dangote? Let's hear this.
Gbogbo Benin Republic mélòó ni wọ́n ná wọn jọ wọ́n ṣe wọ́n mélòó ni gbogbo Togo lẹ́sì ẹ̀ wá ń dẹ́rù bàbá ẹ̀ wá ń dẹ́rù kó lábàrúgbó wa ẹ̀ sẹ́ni kẹ́ bàmá pa wá kábà wọ́n sẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀ lè mú wa lọ́ọ̀bì kankan ẹ̀ sẹ́ni kọ́kọ́ mú pé sẹ́rí àwọn alága Yorùbá tí àbí alága ọ̀dọ́ táwọn ṣe tiwọn tí wọ́n rí wọn rọ́ pé ńgbà táwọn ò sí lé lẹ́mọ̀ pé àìkówọrí èdò àwọn ìṣòro àwọn tá a yẹ gómìnà Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà ẹni tá a yẹ ẹni tó kájú ẹ̀ ni.
So it shows that. Let's hear again from this comrade that spoke on Channels Television.
What they want to do is to send a message to create fear and to show the military that we can come for you and there's nothing you can do. You may not know, I don't know whether it's out in the news, that the major has been killed. Belongs to some groups, and I know about 3 hours ago, his body was found. He has been killed. So, it's not about ransom. I just want to confirm to Mokpe that she is right. It's not about ransom. They just want to pass a message. We can come in. We can do what we need to do. And there are some hardliners in this government that are sponsoring this kind of narratives. They just want to show that they can Islamize this country. They think about Taliban, they think about the Mujahideens, and they want to replicate it in this country. And they don't care what happened. They simply don't care. As long as at the end of the day, there's Sharia and there is whatever thing they have in their head and they want to achieve. So these people that are sending messages are sponsored by Nigerians.
Quickly,
Please go ahead.
this part of what you just spoke about now.
I'm sure you all remember that comrade. Every one of us, the government is telling us that you can't operate a business to the tune of whatever, apart from the Fulanis and the Hausas. Once again, a very good afternoon. Federal government linking Chief Sunday Igboho with Boko Haram. Do you understand the message, the signal they're sending out to the international community? As election is coming, they know that Chief Sunday Igboho must be free in Benin Republic. There's no doubt about that. But they are already preparing another. They are already preparing another issues ahead, so that by the time Chief Sunday Igboho is released, he would also have to now have this link of him with Boko Haram as someone receiving money from Boko Haram. Do you understand what that means? That the Attorney General of the Federation once again, a very good afternoon. I'm going to take a bit of a short interlude. And when we come back, we will continue with the conversation. So we're going to go back to that video, which Chief Sunday Igboho did as well, just around September. So let us, this was last year, 2020. So I'm going to come off now, but I'll be back just before the video runs out. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Have a very good afternoon from wherever you're watching. Let's now play the video.
yóò bá wá ní tí ọkọ bá ṣáájú tí pamọ́lẹ̀ bá tẹ̀lé tí òjò náà bá ba èrè bá ń wọ́ bọ̀ lẹ́yìn ẹ lè ṣe nǹkan kan torí pé àwọn ọ̀rẹ́dì àti bàyíjà àwa ń béèrè right wa ni táyì máa lè fẹ́ bá wa jà àwa kan máa túraká gan táyọ̀ jà so nígbà tó bá di October 1st àwa ó ṣe rálì àtẹ̀wọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá mọ̀ kàn dẹ́rù báyìí ní stéètì yìí ẹ wá jọ ìwà nígbàdàn bí àwọn máa jáde àwọn àkójọ bọ́ta abẹ́sọdún pé Yorùbá fẹ́ lọ ní October 4. àwọn náà máa sọ fún wa pé àwọn ò fún wa tó bá sọ pé àwọn ò fún wa àwọn ò fún wa pé kí nìdí ẹbílẹ̀ fún wa ṣé àpọ̀tọ́ ni ṣé láwọn ọmọ tó kàwé ni ṣé ní àwọn ọmọ tí ó ṣe kí ni o tí orí wọn pé ni àbí kí nìdí ìwé wo ni àwọn ọmọ tí ń kà tí àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n tiwa àtàwọn àbúrò wa ò kà àlùmọ́ọ́nì wo ni àwọn bàbá ti ní tí àwọn bàbá wa àní ẹ̀ máa lọ àṣemọ́ àwọn náà máa sọ fún wa pé àwọn ò lè yọ̀ǹda wa ká máa lọ o àwa ní kí gbogbo ayé bá bí wọ́n pé kí ló ní tẹ́ lè yọ̀ǹda wa so gbogbo èyí tá à ń ṣe mítì lọ́tún tá à ń ṣe mítì lọ́sẹ̀ pé ká máa dóde stadium ká máa dóde bàbá kan ohun tẹ́mi fẹ́ kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ ń jọ ní pé à ń retí ààrẹ ọ̀nà kakanfò gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá à ń retí ààrẹ ọ̀nà kakanfò gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní ọjọ́ yẹn kí àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ ṣáájú àwọn ní ọkà kan ṣáájú àwọn apamọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo wa tẹ̀lé wọn lẹ́yìn à ń retí ààrẹ wa kó ṣáájú jọ yẹn á tẹ̀lé àdóde ọba èmi àtàwọn ọba wa kan ṣe mítì ní nǹkan bíi ìjẹta èmi àtàwọn ọba wa kan ṣe mítì ní ìjẹta mo dẹ̀ sọ fún ọ pé ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ lọ parí gbogbo dúkùn tí ń bẹ nínú àárín yín ẹ mọ́ fìyà jẹ wá ìyàtọ̀ fi jẹ wá ti ṣe kí ni o ìyàtọ̀ fi jẹ wá yẹn ó ti tó mo sọ fún wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ níjẹta kódà mo jó ń bẹ̀ tí mo dọ̀bálẹ̀ tí mo pọ́n wọn lé mo wá sọ fún wọn pé October 1st àwa fẹ́ béèrè pé à ń lọ afẹ́ Yorùbá fẹ́ dá dúró adẹ̀fẹ́ ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ń bẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ tẹ̀lé a ṣùgbọ́n mo rí i pé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹ ò dúró re tó àwọn bàbá ń ṣe díẹ̀díẹ̀ bàbá ní ẹnu ọmọ ọgbà ìyá pàdé mọ́ a gbọ́dọ̀ bú àwọn bàbá wa ààrẹ ọ̀nà kakanfò wa a gbọ́dọ̀ rí wọn fí kí mo sọ ààrẹ ọ̀nà kakanfò wa lẹ Yorùbá a gbọ́dọ̀ rí wọn fí torí pé tí onígbà bá pẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní èkúfọ́ Yorùbá sọ pé pàǹkàrà ni a sì tún ti ní ààrẹ ọ̀nà kakanfò míì ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá for now lẹ́yìn ìbá òun sì lọ lórí wa òun ni a mọ̀ kọ́ni fún jọ yẹn pé tí ó ṣáájú lámọ̀ pé olórí ìwà rẹ̀ òun dẹ̀ ní agbègbè wa for now tí a bá wá ní tiẹ̀ báwo bí bàtà ń járáǹkì ara wa nìyẹn mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò ọkùnrin 1 million lòun náà arógunmọ́sá dẹ̀ ni ibi tí a bá ká pẹ̀gẹ̀ yẹn ká tún fẹ́ gẹ̀ fún arógunmọ́sá lòun náà so èmi dẹ̀ nígbàgbọ́ pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó jẹ́ pé àròlé rógunmọ́tìtì ni wọ́n but now tábà ní ká mọ dóde pé àwọn bàbá wa fẹ́ ṣe gbà kódà kó jẹ́ àwa mẹ́wàá alábáríra wa ń jọ yẹn a máa jáde a máa gbé fúlàgì wa pé a fẹ́ nǹkan báyìí ní October 1st tó bá jẹ́ àwa mẹ́wàá alábáríra wa a máa jáde ń jọ yẹn èmi ni mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í ṣe pé ẹnu pé yẹn ń fọ́nù tàbí pé yẹn ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu bọ̀ kúkọ́ ohun tẹ́ lè ṣe fún wa níjọ́ yẹn kọ́ October 1st tó dé bóyá kẹ́ gbé wa pamọ́ tàbí kẹ́ pa wá kẹ́ yìnbọn tẹ́bọ̀ lè yìnbọn tí gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá gbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ kan náà kẹ́ pa gbogbo wa ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́lẹ̀ bá pa wá á jáde náà á jáde náà bọ̀ àwọn kan pé kámọ́jẹ kan mọ̀ pé a fẹ́ jáde mọ́ à ń sọjọ́ ní àlè ìdánilẹ̀ bàbá mi ò débi báyìí ilẹ̀ bàbá wa la wà ilẹ̀ bàbá wa la ṣe kí ni o adà ní right ọ̀sẹ̀ tí àwọn alápàá fi yí wọn lẹ̀ Yorùbá wọn fi yí wọn lẹ̀ Haúsá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bí báyìí.
And if you hear that statement, and that is the same thing that has played out again, a businessman like Chief Sunday Igboho is being linked with a terrorist organization destroying, maiming, killing so many Yorubas. That's Boko Haram. Tẹ́ bá gbọ́ fídíò tí bàbá ṣe ní last year September that I've just played now, you can see that the federal government of Nigeria is already playing a different card with us. The federal government of Nigeria is playing a card with us by linking our own hero, our own father, uncle, brother, the man that I've said continuously, Ẹ̀yà pa gbogbo wa tán. But rather than the government telling Nigerians the real faces behind the sponsor of Boko Haram, the government is now saying to us that it's Sunday Igboho. I'm sure some of you remember this. I'm sure some of you remember these. These are cash. Cash being given. Sheikh Gumi, the Nigerian cleric who negotiate with bandits. They're not bandits. These are terrorists. Federal government wá ń sọ fún gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ káàárọ̀ òjíire pé ẹ jẹ́ lọ dákẹ́ síbì kan. Ẹni tẹ́ ń pè ní bàbá yín yẹn, ẹni tẹ́ ń pè ní Ìgbòho yẹn, ó máa ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ Boko Haram. Do you understand what that means? And this was this year when Gumi was taking cash. The prominent Muslim cleric acting as a self-appointed middleman has emerged as a divisive figure in the kidnap for ransom crisis plaguing northern Nigeria, which has seen more than 800 students seized in recent months. Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, a former army captain, that the father died here in London, according to what we were told last week by our brother, Mahmoud, Dr. Femi, that was telling us Gumi's father. How many of us know that the father died here in London? Èèyàn mélòó ló mọ̀ pé bàbá Gumi lélẹ̀ pé London ló kú sí? Abubakar Gumi. Abubakar Gumi, just like the father, were also enrolled in the Nigerian military. How many of you know that? How many of us knows that Gumi tí ẹ̀yin wò lélẹ̀ bàbá ẹ̀ lélẹ̀ London bíbá yìí ni bàbá ẹ̀ kú sí just before September 11, 1992. And the same son is now helping the federal government to negotiate on behalf. Who is Gumi? He was born in Kano, just like this man, just like Dangote, Aliko Dangote. They said it's worth 13.6 billion using Nigerian money. Aliko Dangote was born in Kano, just like Gumi's father, just like Gumi himself. But now the federal government is now linking a terrorist that has been sentenced in United Arab Emirates, known as Suraj Abubakar Muhammadu, as someone that was having a link with Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. Are we Yorubas really understanding what they are playing out? In Jamonton play out? Or are we just all keeping quiet? Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome again to the broadcast. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí a kí gbogbo wa tí a ti darapọ̀ mọ́ ètò náà. Let's come back to Gumi, the man that was negotiating on behalf of the federal government with the terrorists. Born in 1960, just during the fraudulent independence, after Britain. Do you know that Britain was also giving scholarship to the father of Gumi? Could there be something that we don't know that is now about to play out? Is there something, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá, that we should start thinking now? Okay, adúpẹ́ pé wọ́n ti fi Lady K sílẹ̀, wọ́n ti fi Ọládélé sílẹ̀, but today they've labeled Chief Sunday Igboho as a link to terrorists. Okay, ẹ jẹ́ a fi Lady K sílẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ a fi Ọládélé sílẹ̀, but tá a bá mọ̀ pé wọ́n máa fi Igboho sílẹ̀ ní Benin Republic, ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ fún wọn pé he has a link to terrorists. Ó ń gba owó. So we are now saying that as Yoruba people, we do not, the same way they marginalize the Biafrans or the Igbo that are also a trader doing businesses across every part of Nigeria, but they do not have access to forex as against what this man and this man had enough forex. Dangote had access into the Central Bank of Nigeria. Abdul Samad Rabiu, the chairman of BU Group. These are the people that have owed the jugular of every Nigerian by not allowing other businesses to flourish. Dangote has killed every businesses that you can think of in Nigeria because he is playing monopoly by giving all the exclusive rights with his brother Abdul Samad Rabiu. And there's so many of them like that. But our own father, our own uncle, our own brother that is running his own business without access to CBN is now being portrayed in the minds of millions of people around the world, not just the Omoluabis, that this man has a link with federal government known terrorists. But rather, the one that has link, that knows where the terrorists are operating from, is being given impunity to continue to move around. But the father of this Gumi that you're looking at now, also, let's go a little bit into his profile. Abubakar Mahmood Gumi, he was born on the 5th of November 1922. Can somebody minus 1922 from 1914, the amalgamation? And you can start seeing how all these things are interwoven. They are linked. Gbogbo kini tá a ṣe ń sọ ní 21st century has been linked prior to today. He was born in Zamfara State he was an outspoken Islamic scholar. 8 years. Thank you very much. So 8 years before, or 8 years after, rather, not before, 8 years after amalgamation of 1914, this man was born. But he also have interest in today's conversation. He has a large number of children. However, most popular child happens to be Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Gumi, who succeeded his father as the scholar of the Central Mosque in Kaduna in southern Bello. Dr. Ahmed Gumi is a certified medical doctor from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and was also a former military officer. He left military and traveled to study fiqh at the Al-Qura University in Mecca in Saudi Arabia, where he obtained PhD. I'm talking about this man. And there is a video. Let me see if I can quickly upload that video and then play that back to us. We will open the phone line, but not yet. If you're more than patient to sit back and let us put this analysis, because the federal government of Nigeria is now playing something that every one of us must be ready to understand where they are heading to. Label Igboho as the sponsor to Boko Haram. That way, it gives you leverage. So that when he even traveled to Germany, it will be linked as a sponsor to Boko Haram. When he traveled to America, it will be linked as a sponsor to Boko Haram. When he traveled to any part of the world, he would have to carry the shoulder of someone that has link with Boko Haram. We were not prepared for this, are we? To wake up on a Friday, 22nd of October 2021, that the federal government is telling myself and you that Chief Sunday Igboho has link with Boko Haram. Nobody was prepared for that, is it? Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome to the conversation the responding back to the federal government of Nigeria and the Attorney General of the Federation that we will not sit back because we know where they're going and the game they're playing, and we are also watching. But every one of us should not be shocked. Every one of us should not be surprised. Every one of us should understand that these would happen because the federal government of Nigeria already knows that the Biafrans are saying they want to go. By holding Nnamdi Kanu, they are not going to negotiate with the government. The Yorubas or the Omoluabis are saying that we want to go, and they are not ready to negotiate with Boko Haram. But do you know that the federal government does not want myself and you to think that whatever we are thinking, like I always say, they are already also thinking 3-4 times ahead of us. A man that is fighting for his people when it comes to this atrocity, this kidnapping, this killing, this situation that has now meant that we are saying that we do not want to go into another 2023 general election. But the federal government is saying, no, you will go into election. And that is why Buhari yesterday gave order Do you know what he said to the security chiefs when they met yesterday? Do you know what Buhari told them about the upcoming Anambra election that is coming on the 7th of November? Do you know what Mongono, the Fulani man, said after that meeting with the dead or alive mannequin that they kept in Abuja? Do you know that we are now in a situation that if everybody is keeping quiet, you will also be the next target, not literally us alone. Because if you continue with one Nigeria, in the next 5 years, 10 years, you will also be restrained from operating the way you want to run whatever you are doing, because the Fulanis will dictate to you how you will be able to run things, whether you want to set up just a normal hospital. You don't want to have anything to do with the government. You just want to set up your own hospital, you want to set up your own industry, and they will tell you, no. You cannot set up another, what is Dangote trying to put together? Is refinery. Imagine Chief Sunday Igboho in another 10 years says, I want to set up a refinery. And every one of us in the diaspora, every one of us, from the international market, invest in it. Do you think it's going to be possible? Because already now they're telling you that, hey, transaction was going from his account, and this transaction were money coming from the Boko Haram sponsor. But they've left Aliko Dangote and BU Group and so many others like that. But I decided to point on those two individuals because they are not better than Chief Sunday Igboho. Those two individuals are not better than Chief Sunday Igboho. But I'm sure some of you do not understand that this Fulani government is preparing, as we are also demanding a referendum to allow us to decide whether we still want to be part of Nigeria or not. Buhari will go, but there are already 1,000 multiplied by thousands of Buhari that still wants to make sure that myself and you are still enslaved. So it's not about Buhari, it's about the ideology that you cannot change. And I just want us to quickly, before I tell you, I know where every conversation has stopped. I'm going to play you that video. It's already uploaded of who Shegumi is. I've told you that his father was also a sponsor, having a scholarship here in United Kingdom. He even died here in UK. Do you know that Gumi that is moving around, Gumi Tenri here, Baba to be London be by Lokusi. Do you understand what that means? But there's something that our father has already told us. And I hope I can find that video as quickly as possible. We are all sleeping in danger because some of our elites do not understand that the Fulanis that allow you to become a university lecturer will never give you more opportunity from that lecturing into something bigger picture. So in Nigeria today, you cannot become a billionaire because the Fulani controls the port. They controls every segment of the country. And I pity all our youth. Because Chief Sunday Igboho is not fighting for himself. There's a couple of videos I'm going to play. Let's remind ourselves of this man.
Which is it for you, Dr. Badaya? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big...
I don't think at any point did this man, may so rest in peace, ever told anyone, whether in private or open, that he knows about Chief Sunday Igboho as one of the sponsors of Boko Haram. But he made us know that the sponsor of Boko Haram is in this government. And also, a current governor in the northern state is the sponsor of Boko Haram. Let me rewind that again. He's gone. They've killed him because they know he has a lot of information. And the only way is to eliminate him. Whatever they tell you happened to him. Whatever lies that the government is cooking, just like they are cooking the lies on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And they are bringing him to court, giving the impression that, oh, we have now become a good people. He doesn't have anchor. He doesn't cover his face. He can walk with his bare legs. But they have not told you that Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people, and some of you Yorubas that keep saying that we should not have anything to do with the Biafrans, that means you are also going to listen to the federal government that has now linked Chief Sunday Igboho with Boko Haram. Because that means you believe that the federal government that labeled IPOB as a terrorist organization, you might as well start understanding that the federal government has now labeled Chief Sunday Igboho as a terrorist. Because Taban Solo Jojimo Lori Bibai, Aranya Magbon, Emma Binu, Feni Kokoshe Pelu Igbo, Feni Kokoshe Pelu Biafra. If you don't look on this, that they are linking Chief Sunday Igboho ati Boko Haram. You are listening to the federal government that label IPOB as a terrorist organization. Is it not the Fulani government? Is it not the Fulani government that we are fighting as well? Nnamdi Kanu that was kidnapped from Kenya. Let's hear what the late is now late. Is dead. They've killed him because they could not hold on to maybe they know that at some point he might release the name. But he never said anything that Nnamdi Kanu was the sponsor or getting money from Boko Haram. Igbowo. But he told us that this government, even Comrade Olawumi told us the same thing. But some of us are trying to play it as if, because the federal government has labeled IPOB as, as the prescribed IPOB. Who prescribed them? Is it not the same Fulani terrorist government that we are fighting as well? Is it not the same thing that they are demanding, that they want a freedom to opt out of Nigeria because the union, they hate Igbo just like they hate you as Yoruba people. You are not different from the name they call you, the Hausa Fulani. And that's why they can come up and give us the impression that Igbo was transacting to the tune of not even, I was even thinking they would say about $123 billion. So that means as Yoruba man, you're right, that is your okowo to the tune of 200 million. But Dangote at Anwemewawo, and when they say transaction in the tune of dollars that they are already feeding fat on the government. I pity some of the youth. I pity you because Erope, Tinubu, and Yoruba politician can handle these mad bastard Hausa Fulani people. You think they can handle them? Give me a tissue, please. What happened? And I need water. What happened? You okay? You think you can handle them? You think you can handle them? Let's hear this again.
Which is it for you, Dr. Obadiah? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Okay. How would the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
Once again, you've had it there. Now we've seen in Imo State, unknown gunmen, the DSS, putting on wood, telling you it's unknown gunmen, went into a community where the traditional rulers were having meeting, kill them. Is that not what late Dr. Malapia Obadia told us? In them photos of my family, ni what you might say was the Yoruba. The question now is, who killed Oba Ifon? Ifon King that was killed. Nigeria. Ta ló pa Oba Ifon? Is there any information to who killed this traditional ruler? Till date, we don't know. They told us they've arrested suspect killers of Ondo State monarch. What is the end result of it? Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. Every death in Nigeria is just they have died. Nobody opened investigation. A traditional ruler, first class in Ondo, declared that the touching a monarch is wrong, but they killed him. Oba Israel Adewusi. He was killed last year. As we speak right now, nobody has come out. All we hear is, and we fish out, the killer of Olufon of Ifon. That was Akeredolu. Akeredolu was here in London as of last week. I hope he was going to tell us who killed that monarch.
Insights.
So, Malafi has told us it is coming. It's just a matter of time. I want us to just the picture of, this king. Yes, that's the picture I'm looking for. Close the door. Give me the water. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Close the door. Thank you. Now, I want us to now just go back one step further. Remember, I told you, who is Shegumi? Let's hear from this man that knows him a little bit. It's about 4 minutes, 21 seconds. This broadcast might go for 4 hours, if a little bit more. But we can also confirm officially, as it's always been saying, that Lady K and Oladele has been released. I'm sure the media will be coming out to have a proper conversation on that. I have come out to give you the analysis of prompting that maybe while you are jubilating, the federal government, Sheriba and jubilate, federal government, if you come by linking our own hero, our own father, uncle, of somebody getting money from Boko Haram. And that is the headline. If you go to all the papers in Nigeria right now, they are very quick to pick that because it has come out from the Attorney General of the Federation, a Fulani man, that even said it at the Oyo court that Emi Okinse Fulani. So somebody, countries, consultants are working with the government to tell them which of the steps to take. So while you are all celebrating about our 2 individuals that were taken away from Chief Sunday Igboho's house, let us also remember that they've not released the dead body of Alhaji Adisa Adogon and also Alhaji Fatai. Let's hear what this man has to tell us. Once again, a very good afternoon. My name is Malami. It's 10 minutes to 6 p.m., 22nd of October, 2021. I'm responding back to the federal government of Nigeria on their latest allegation, lies, fallacy against Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Igboho.
I feel sorry for us. If you read the newspaper, November 7th was a Sunday in 2004. At that time, Bishop Akinla used to be was the current president at that time. At that time, a young fiery cleric returned from, I think, Saudi Arabia and settled in Kaduna. His first tafsir in the mosque was hot. It was incendiary. He threw down the Nigerian constitution, said, what rubbish is this? He said, how can the nation survive with hypocrites, with with unbelievers, with pagans? And he began to incite the people. This was in the mosque in Kaduna. Now, it was televised, it was put on radio for days after. but it was in Hausa language. This fiery clerk did not realize that there are patriots all over this country, Muslims and Christians. So the tape ended up in Lagos, and there was a build-up to kill people at that year in 2004 in Kaduna. At that time, the salvation of Nigeria, if I tell you who God used for us then, you may not believe it, but we had to, after we found out that we informed the security organizations, we did all that had to be done, things were still proceeding in Kaduna. The build-up towards violence, to killing people, was still on ground. Don't forget I was serving the CAN president then. So we called the media to assist us. And it was the media who solved the problem. And the major person whose contribution worked the most was that of Femi Adesina. See, that's why sometimes I look at people when they abuse Femi Adesina and all that, and I say, you guys don't understand the kind of war we are up against and how that uninformed opinions only make matters worse. Femi Adesina almost lost his job in 2004 because he took the front page and addressed the issue. And if you look at the front page, Archbishop Akela was on one side saying, you want to kill my people. On the other side, there was this fairy cleric who said, I only hate those who drink beer. When that publication went viral, it became a global issue, which is still going to become again. That young sheikh ran out of Nigeria. Adesina almost lost his job, but his superiors then, his senior then, because he stuck out his neck and said, look, you can't kill people under our watch. The correspondent in Kaduna, I think, was sacked instantly before they found out that the story did not break from Kaduna. Now, Adesina is in the presidency, but I know he hasn't changed. It's just that he's a wise person who knows that influence has to be used properly. That same sheikh today is becoming the hope of Nigeria. Is that sheikh today who walks into the Sambisa forest and negotiates, says he wants to negotiate on Nigeria's behalf? Is that same sheikh who has been able to get in contact with the people who kidnapped students in Niger State? Now, if that sheikh becomes the go-between between all of us, look, I trust the government. I trust our military. I trust our people. But that sheikh, if Nigeria makes the mistake of making him the go-between to negotiate the so-called release, let Nigeria go back in 2014 and see what that sheikh said. Let Nigeria go back in 2012 and see his comments. His comments then was that, why should you kill Boko Haram? They are actually our brothers. They are Muslims. Just get your soldiers out of the way. Get your police out of the way. It's an internal affair. It doesn't concern you. Those were his comments. One later comment then was that they should kill the serving president. They should kill the chief of staff. They should kill so very incendiary talk there. And that Nigeria would know peace. Now, that is now the hope of Nigeria. And I'm telling you something, if we make the mistake of playing into their hands, because we are dealing with global intelligence, don't think he has come up by himself. He's come up with a global lobby with all sorts of...
And that is where I want us to pick. Global lobby. And that is the sheikh that we're talking here. Ahmed Gumi, born in 1960 in Kano State, is the eldest son of the late Sheikh Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi, an outspoken Islamic scholar and a Grand Qadi, Chief Judge of the Sharia Court of Appeal in northern Nigeria. Studied medicine before enlisting with the Nigerian Defense Academy, the same Defense Academy that was overrun by the same Boko Haram. But what we are discussing this evening is the federal government, Attorney General of Federation, link payment into Chief Sunday Igboho's account from one of those that have been sentenced to life imprisonment for sponsoring Boko Haram, known as Suraju Abubakar Muhammad. And if every Yorubas, Igbo, Biafrans, Middle Belt keeps quiet, we are all going to be labeled, tagged at some point in whatever our capacity, in whatever our professional ways in Nigeria as terrorists. Let us hear what this man has to say as well. Let's hear from him.
He went to complain to President Buhari that politicians were inducing false flag operations in the East. And you know that if for a governor to say that, don't forget, when asked on channel television, Governor Zodima also said the same thing, that there were false flag operations being carried out by politicians. Obiano has repeated it. I have said that on this station twice. I've said that on channels. I've said that on the BBC. That these are false flag operations being committed by fifth columnists working for the Buhari administration.
Do you have your claim? Do you have your proof?
Yes, one proof, let me tell you. I was in Owerri the day when there was the raid and burning of the police headquarters. I watched from my hotel room as they operated for 3 hours, 20 minutes. Later in the morning, I went to the police headquarters to check. I was looking. No single gunshot. When I later asked, was any policeman killed? They said no. Did people kill anybody? They said no. So how could that happen? For 3 hours, 20 minutes, and there is no reaction. That meant there was a stand down. And
so let us understand that the federal government also have a lot of backing, a lot of consultants, a lot of people that are discussing with them. And that is why, coming to this, Buhari that preside over security meeting in Aso Rock, what was the outcome? The outcome was, whatever it takes, if you have to kill every one of them in Biafra land, make sure you do so. The security head were expected to brief the president at the meeting. It was also expected that the meeting will have review of recent security development that this same Buhari created when they brought in jihadis to come and fight Jonathan in 2015. The meeting coincided on the day the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was arraigned at the federal High Court. The federal government has designated IPOB as a terrorist organization. The federal government itself is a terrorist organization. And that's why I pity those of you that always say they put in IPOB, they proscribe them, we must not have anything to do with them. But at least now, I'm sure you can see where they're also going by telling us that Chief Sunday Igboho, based on what Abubakar Malami, a Fulani man, I was reading somebody just said right now that Buhari did the same thing in 1984. And what did Buhari did in 1984, according to Prince Banjoko Adegboyega, nothing new about what Muhammadu Buhari is doing. By accusing Sunday Igboho of buying dollars at Bureau de Change for 12 million naira, Buhari jailed Fela Anikulapo Kuti in 1984, accusing him of trafficking his own foreign currency. So, thank you very much for that reminder. Once again, for those of you that do not know, Buhari government, a terrorist government, is linking our own hero, Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, by receiving money from someone that is linked to terrorist organization funding at the United Arab Emirates, known as Suraju Abubakar Muhammad. The proscribers should be proscribed. You're right. And this is why we are saying to every one of us, we must now start thinking that this fight to self-determination is not just about Chief Sunday Igboho, it's about every single one of us. Before this government will link us into what we don't want to be. We have the opportunity now. And what is the opportunity? By trying to make sure that another election on the 1999 fraudulent constitution is not allowed. But the moment we allow another election, that means we still want to be part of this terrorist government. That means we still want to be part of this terrorist organization. But we can all say enough is enough by all joining hands together and put a full stop to it now. It is not too late. It can be done. But the more we are scared of this government, the more the government is having more priority, more on each one of us. A fẹ́ jáde kúrò lórí ilẹ̀ yìí wa, àbí a fẹ́ kúrò lórí inú Nàìjíríà tí gbogbo àjọ wà. Nítorí pé wọ́n ti fi yé wa nísìn pé they are giving, they are working. Tẹ́ bá rò pé wọ́n sùn, wọ́n sùn. The federal government, Fulani government is working round the clock. And I am now, Mayegun said so on his program. I've said so as well. Let us be prepared now that there might be a coup coming up in Nigeria anytime soon. If you listen to the analysis of Mayegun yesterday, I have said it even before, the Turkey president came into Nigeria, that this government is not joking with us. Tabaro pé wọ́n joke pẹ̀lú wa, àwa là ń joke pẹ̀lú ra wa, because we are taking things, sharing gbogbo the distraction of what is happening. We are going to lose focus because the Fulani government is going to pay some of the Yorubas. They're going to pay people from the Middle Belt. They're going to pay people from the Biafrans to make sure that our message, our conversation leading to our exit out of Nigeria is distorted. But it is entirely up to every one of us to say no. We will not allow that to happen. And we can do so now. We can do so before it is too late. But if we don't stop it now, then it's going to be chaos. Big chaos for every one of us. Let us say enough is enough. We're going to put out a Zoom link now because I'm not sure if the phone, if I open the line, it would hold as many calls as we want to. But when you join the link, you will all be given just about 2 minutes or less to have your conversation. And then we hope to bring the program to an end just some few minutes after 7. I'm aware that the media will be coming out. I don't know what time because I've not been in the group to see what is going on, but I'm sure there is. But I've come out purposely. And please, when you're having this conversation, let us focus more on this topic because it is a big conversation that if Chief Sunday Igboho is released today from Benin Republic, the federal government has already labeled him with the link to Boko Haram. And that is something that should worry you and me because the federal government is not ready to back down. The federal government believes that it owns us and we have no say. I have asked the question, who decide if we still be part of
this pandemic is
Nigeria? Who make that decision? Is it the international community? Is it the politicians at home? Who make the decision that as Yorubas, we must remain inside Nigeria, whether we like it or not? Ta ló make a decision here for us? But like I said, when you're joining, mute. Let's have this, like I said, from yesterday, we will be having the Zoom during the conversation, maybe towards the last part of the program. Let us not allow federal government to tell you that as Yoruba people, we cannot run a business worth millions or billions of dollars. We have always run businesses. It's not the first time that the Yorubas have run businesses. We have run businesses successfully. But the federal government is telling us today that you can no longer do so. And that is why we are telling every one of us, just before we start going into the final part of the conversation, which is, if you've seen this headline that the federal government says, federal government links Sunday Igboho to Boko Haram sponsor. It is not a coincidence. It is what they've planned. And they are ready to make sure that myself and you would not be given opportunity as what you call yourself Nigerian, because I am not. Because as far as we are concerned, the country is not working for every one of us. So, but those of you calling yourself Nigerians, that's fine. But all I can tell you is, Nigeria is ready to deal with you. Like I said, the conversation, I understand. We all want to say congratulations. You know, we've been expecting that. It's going to happen. But let us focus more on this conversation tonight, which is why I've come out to tell the federal government of Nigeria that you're talking nonsense. Once again, my name is MALAMI Koiki. So we're also going to open the phone line, which also will take calls, whether you're calling direct or you're going to call through WhatsApp. The back-end team will put the number out and they will pin it. But for those of you that do not know the number, it's +4475 94050 979. We have somebody already on the Zoom link, so please do raise your hands up if you're ready to have a conversation. Once again, the link is already on the, we already have the link, like I said, right there for those of you that might also want to join. There's still going to be more propaganda on each and every one of us. You've seen what has been playing out in the last week. Our concentration has been diverted. This one coming into the weekend is just so many, is just as many as what we should still be expecting from this country called Nigeria. Nigeria is a crime scene. And the more we allow 2023 to run, that means the more the federal government is ready to make sure that myself and you are not stakeholders in Nigeria. It does not matter whether you say they will do transition of result. They already know the game plan. So let's go straight as we have the first caller. Hello, caller. Caller. Ẹ ti wọlé nísìn, ẹ fi yẹn sílẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká focus straight away. My own suggestions. So, GM, a Fulani man, just like they've done before, just like they're still doing to so many of us. Egbon's okay.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sherry, so allegation against Chief Sunday. Honestly, it's not really strange to me because that is their style. And nǹkan mo kàn fẹ́ kí gbogbo wa mọ̀ ni pé àwọn pípò yìí wọn bá bí nǹkan tẹ̀sán wọn bá wa ṣeré. It's not a joke. It's not an easy thing at all. Kolomba make it easy. And for the fact that one chief one beton wa, our government in Nigeria won't share money ni Benin Republic won't fear one yen on select. And call on Shannon because I've been like, what is this all again? But Kashima to prepare for so many things like this. Honestly, it's not a joke. It's something to I want people here evil, they are evil. And whatever, they don't care. That's it bringing. Tabani be a tag terrorists. They will soon tag us more than that. If we don't know. So we should all just forget about IPOB being terrorists for now. We are being the only thing we know is that we both IPOB and the Yoruba nation, we are aiming at the same thing. Go at the same thing. Then when we get there, then we can then say, okay, this and that, come on, but for now, honestly, because I'm feel so sad. Yeah, I'm happy that they eventually release this too. Especially Lady K. Strong. Could any kékeré àti gbogbo àwọn yòókù àti gbogbo wa náà gbogbo effort ò ní wà in vain lágbára Ọlọ́run ọba but gbogbo nǹkan tá ṣe Ọlọ́run aṣàbàwá ṣe because I just don't know. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That is one of our mother there that have just spoken to us. We're still also taking calls on the line. Likewise, we already have a few people that have also joined the Zoom. But like I said, at 7 o'clock, we hope to wind down completely. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Yeah, for KOIKI, I want to ask you one question, please. I have the one news now. Is there Lady K and that guy? Is that true?
Yes, confirm, yes.
Oh, thank God, thank God.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank God. Shaman's coming out.
Well, like I said, Chief Sunday Igboho might be out soon, but the federal government is already having another allegation, another fallacy, claiming that after they've set up a committee, the same committee that they were unable to set up to tell us for 6 years, the sponsor of Boko Haram, the federal government is now coming out to say to us, myself and you, every single one of us, whether you agree or disagree with the fight that Chief Sunday Igboho is fighting for, that they've been able to find money in his account that he has run as a business account. So what about you now? Are you worried? Or are you just thinking, well, Yoruba nation? But what about you that is bringing goods into the country, but because you are not an Hausa Fulani man or Hausa Fulani woman, you are being isolated? We say, yes, they've released Lady K and Oladele, but what about the dead bodies? What about the animal that was killed? Should we all just keep quiet until something bigger that the federal government is cooking for Chief Sunday Igboho? We have a new caller. Hello, good afternoon or good evening.
Yeah, Koiki, báwo ni kú iṣẹ́?
Yeah.
So pé FG líǹkì Chief Sunday Igboho mọ́ Boko Haram is just a propaganda. Lóòótọ́, nítorí ṣe yẹn ò ju pé tó bá jẹ́ pé eventually wọ́n fi Sunday Igboho sílẹ̀ ní Kútọ́nù. Ní táwọn ọmọ máa lò nìyẹn pé àwọn òun ló ń sponsor Boko Haram. But virtually everybody, including our international countries, there has never been any accusation tí federal government man bring against anybody, against you, only pay terrorist ni. But on the court, won't prove one single thing you combine won't prove it. Kaka yen, one confusion they want to pay what about one tomorrow become, what shall I Abuja so that I'm only 2023 election now. The same thing, none of that shape do Sunday. So I need láti máa gbé ọkàn ara wa sókè. Though bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé nǹkan fẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn láti fi ní ṣọ̀pá àwọn jẹ́kẹ́rù bá àwọn èèyàn. So that wọ́n máa rò pé kìnìún báwo ni Sunday Igboho tó ń lé àwọn Boko Haram kò ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Báwo ló ṣe máa jó òun náà lò tó jẹ́ pé òun náà lò sponsor wọn. Àti pé kò make sense. So nípa tìyẹn, wọ́n kàn máa ń bring up any Trump charges tó ṣe wù wọ́n ni. Kọ́ńkọ́ fi lè máa sọ tó bá dé court òkè bá tí wọ́n lọ sí court nìbàdàn gbogbo ni wọ́n lọ fọ ilé ẹni yẹn àwọn ò ṣe bring accusation pé àwọn rí pé òun ni ó sponsor Boko Haram tó jẹ́ pé the same Boko Haram tó jẹ́ pé òun ló ń bá wọn jà àwọn herdsmen because àti Boko Haram àti herdsmen the same thing people náà ni wọ́n kàn pé wọn sínú group ni pé ẹ̀yin máa fi màálù máa ṣe wàhálà pàpà láwọn people yìí. ẹ̀yin máa fi ordinary ìbọn máa ṣe wàhálà pẹ̀lú so the same people ni wọ́n and Buhari gangan ni sponsor gbogbo wọn Buhari Malami gbogbo wọn yẹn ìgbà tí yóò yí gbé tó gbé kíní lísì àwọn tó yẹn jáde àwọn tó jẹ́ sponsor tó sọ pé sponsor kíní kò sí Sunday Igboho nínú wọn náà and àwọn tó ń dẹ̀ gbé jáde federal government Nigeria ò tí ever lọ mú kankan nínú wọn pé bàtà wọn tẹ̀sí sáyà àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n nílùú yìí federal government ò ṣe ní ti fún wọn kàn máa ń kọjá sí pépà ní pé àwọn ti ṣe kíni àwọn ti ṣe judgement wọn irọ́ ni gbogbo àwọn herdsmen tó ń mú nílẹ̀ Yorùbá gbogbo àwọn Boko Haram tó ń mú kò sí kan tó ti try nínú wọn so tó máa gbé irú league wọn gbé kan báyìí jáde pé àwọn mọ̀ pé àwọn tó wà nínú lawmaker ló ṣe kíni kan wọ́n mọ̀ fi yẹn ṣe kíni ni because so that gender federal government kankan níbi àwọn fẹ́ wọ́n already wọ́n náà mọ̀ wọ́n ti gbé jáde already pé ibi zone 4 làwọn ti fẹ́ pa àwọn èèyàn àwọn fẹ́ pa àwọn èèyàn ní bó kọ́ máa lè ní justification wọ́n ṣe ń gbé orúkọ báyìí jáde níbi tó ti ń ṣe Boko Haram gbọ̀ngàn tó jẹ́ north east and north west wọn láwọn fẹ́ ṣe anything operation anything bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn zone tó jẹ́ pé ibi àwọn Boko Haram tó wá ń pa àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ káwọn èèyàn resist zone yẹn gbọ̀ngàn náà sọ pé àwọn ti fẹ́ ṣe operation anything and operation anything tó fẹ́ ṣe yẹn sìn agenda wọn láti rí pa àwọn pa àwọn èèyàn níbẹ̀ yẹn mo sọ fún ẹ pé wọ́n ṣe máa gbowó lórí tí wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pa àwọn èèyàn gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ni wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pa àwọn èèyàn ṣeré so this link àbí kankan yẹn máyì ká bọ́dà ara wa nípa yẹn ṣódẹ̀ wá rí ti the second thing to bèrè ní pé ta ló dì tàbí mo ti sọ fún ẹ lóòótọ́ àwa ló yẹ ká dì tàbí báwa àtẹ̀sí ní ilẹ̀ àwa Yorùbá ló yẹ ká dì tàbí báwa àtẹ̀sí ní Nàìjíríà right wa ni bad right wa ni but nítorí pé oppression àwọn people yìí wọn ò lè sọ pé òkè o àwọn gbà pé ẹ máa lọ o pé pàtàkì lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ ṣe mọ́ ẹ máa lọ o oppression ni wọn language to understand ni pé káwọn oppress so tó bá understand freedom ẹ wọn máa rẹ́dà láti fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ fà pé o lè lo freedom ẹ káwọn oppression máa ń ṣe everywhere in the world nìyẹn so tó bá wọn wò pé a lè lọ torí pé wọn rẹ́dì wọn ti bà psychology wa jẹ́ ká máa bẹ̀rù ẹni ìdí tó ti bá wọn ti yọ̀bọ̀n ẹni ìdí tó wọn ti yọ̀bọ̀n wọn ti yàdá so already àwọn èèyàn táwọn èèyàn bá jáde ní 1 million sí tó bá ní freedom láti máa move around ó wà okay but ìwà rí pé ordinary kan ṣe ń sàǹsì níjẹta èyí sí òògùn yẹn lọ́pàá tó kó jáde tó bẹ̀sùn yàn tear gas the same people tó lọ dúró ní Lẹ́kì gbogbo ọ̀nà sáà including ọmọ tó jẹ́ Uber so all these people they know how to afflict your psychology so that ìwà máa bá ẹ táà bá dẹ̀ ní anybody lẹ́yìn ìwà táwa náà bá níbọn bíi tiwọn a lè face wọn but táà bá ní a lè jáde ká láǹ protest o eventually náà tó máa sá ni so táwọn dẹ̀ tó wọn báǹkì lórí nìyẹn so yẹn mo ṣe sọ pé even though right wa láti lọ but ó lè máa wá easy láti lọ fún wa táà bá ní ọ̀kan tó jẹ́ gbòógì ṣe Sunday Igboho tó jẹ́ gbòógì tó ń ṣe kìí náà ti lọ mú síbí kan yẹn sìn and gbogbo àwọn tó láwọn olóògùn náà gbogbo wọn náà wọ́n ti fi bọ́dẹ̀rù bá wọn.
ẹ jẹ́ àfẹ́ lómi láì torí time constraint ẹ ṣe gan ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi I know you have quite a lot to say but because I want to make sure that we get as many people into the broadcast. Very short and brief. I know we all have something to say. That's why we open the phone line. I enter our Zoom. Akinyi, like I said, we have a new caller. Go ahead.
Number one, see Malami and Komodo so we get about on JSL. So iṣẹ́ tó ń jẹ́ òun ló ń jáde síta wá sí. Then number two, ṣe rí àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí pé wọ́n ń jáde olóyè. Ṣe rí àwọn Yorùbá wa tó kú, àwọn nǹkan tó yẹ pé Yorùbá wa tó lówó, àwọn wọ́n wà nídìí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. And there's no two things about it. Kò ju pé nǹkan tó fẹ́ wọ́n pé wọ́n fẹ́ bá ọrọ̀ ajé wọn jẹ́. Well, they don't want change. They just like the oppressive style of people come and oppress our own. Then Chewadi said, "Everyone will go and think back to what she rally more, what is stated. So she rally back on that she will banish already. See what DSS to log tracker.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I think we see no abemoto loyi to mo pe ọmọ Yorùbá de. So Taban sọ pé àwọn Fúlàní ìpínlẹ̀ Fúlàní ìta sọ yìí wọ́n ní agbára kankan àti ṣe jàmbá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tí kò bá ní cooperation àwọn Yorùbá wọn nínú. So these things that are happening is the Yoruba people tó wà influence wọ́n wà ní ọ̀rọ̀ because they cannot just nǹkan tí ìgbà tí Kánú wá sí court lánàá. Ẹ̀rí àwọn tó dìde fún ni àwọn ní ìgbòho níbẹ̀ tó tún jẹ́ gómìnà ní Anambra tẹ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n jáde wọ́n dìde fún pé we want to see this guy pé kí níbẹ̀. So why aren't we having the same support system? Okay, ẹ̀sẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lọ pé tẹ́lẹ̀ ayé pé olówó ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àbí ẹni àṣẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá pé kí ẹ jáde kẹ́sí wọn pé ọmọ wa ní ẹni yìí á support ẹni yìí pé kí ẹni yìí ti èèyàn wa ní ọmọ Yorùbá dẹ̀. So therefore afẹ́yẹ́kẹ́ release it. Why is it just we that are abroad and go to Nigeria that are shouting for his release? And we've not seen any high-profile person to wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó kó wọ́n lówó wọ́n dẹ̀ ní influence wọ́n dẹ̀ láṣẹ tó kọjá lè pé òkè ìgbowó èèyàn wa ni. So that means pé àwọn people yìí wọ́n wà in collaboration with the government. Because for Malami to come now and be saying kìnìkan obviously ó ti collaborate pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn ti Yorùbá tó jẹ́ àwọn traitors ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. So gbogbo pé wọ́n gbé charges that day it's just a normal Nigerian government way of bringing out charges to scare people. Okay, when we bring out these charges and we'll label it if you like. If it goes to anywhere internationally, we'll put his name in Kinigo Kinekon. So those charges will be saying will be linked to Kinigo Kinekon. Malami gbogbo fún ẹ kóun náà gbé bank statement jáde. Ká wo àwọn transaction tóun náà ti ṣe. Bóyá a ní link ẹ̀ mọ́ pé ẹni yìí òun náà transact ìkíni ní ẹni tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn tó bá ti fẹ́ ṣe protest àbẹ̀tọ́ fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tó lágbára bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn tí wá gangan wọ́n máa ń bá wa jà. Ìbúrẹ́ kọ́ máa support wa. Àwọn tí wá ìgangan náà ló máa dá ọlọ́pàá síta tó máa kó àwọn ọ̀nà. Ẹ̀wọ̀n nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ní ìjẹta. Àwọn èèyàn tí wá ìgangan náà ló máa mú ló máa ṣe fún àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ jù. It's because they are linked to not that wọ́n fẹ́ kí Yorùbá nation kó ṣe but Yorùbá nation yà ṣe and àwọn tó máa ń jẹ àwọn gbọ̀ngàn àwọn Yorùbá gbọ̀ngàn tó jẹ́ tiwa àwọn ní gbọ̀ngàn tó wà ń di ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo kí ni.
All right, we lost that call. Just another 32 minutes or thereabout, we start winding down just before 7 p.m. Once again, let us remember, even though it seems my system has frozen from this side, so I might not be able to move the cursor, but calls coming through, and then we start winding down. Eba Sheni Kia, hello, caller.
Ẹ̀ka Mr. Koiki.
Ẹ̀kalẹ̀.
Ẹ wo ṣe rí nǹkan tí Manu Malami yẹn sọ yẹn trash ló ń sọ. Ẹ̀mọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé this war is between South and the North. But àwọn àgbàgbà Yorùbá won't understand. First of all, aláti ṣe rally very 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 quickly. Pé kí àwọn Malami, he should mention all those òun lẹ ti ń ṣe ìgbà Koiki àtàwọn tó kù náà kì í ṣe ìnìkan. Reason why ni tí mo sọ pé you have done the best. Ṣé rí gbogbo ilé táwọn Nigeria government yẹn tí wọ́n ní ò tiẹ̀ flip mi rárá whatever tó bá sọ kò ní mí lè sí mi. Ṣé mo reason why? Ìdí ni wípé ṣé rí tá a bá gbò ní ìsìn number 1 USA government wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé freedom Yorùbá ni Sunday Igboho jà fún. United Kingdom government wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé freedom Yorùbá ni Sunday Igboho jà fún. Let me take conclude ẹ̀ báyìí pé most of our international countries, most of the countries wey are not international countries, wọ́n ti mọ̀ wípé nǹkan mission kan báyìí ni bàbá Sunday Igboho jà fún. Ṣé ti get the point? So ibùkún tó bá di ọlọ́rọ̀ pé ibùkún tó bá di ọlọ́rọ̀ wípé ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ kọ́ọ̀tì ní ìsìnkú ó yàtọ̀jọ́ lọ kọ́ọ̀tì. Mo ní 100% assurance pé àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà tó bá máa present fún bàbá Sunday Igboho wọ́n máa ní àwọn evidence láti kó kalẹ̀ pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí evidence pé ẹni yóò freedom fighter ni o kì í ṣe sponsor àwọn Boko Haram o. So kò sí evidence kankan táwọn ìjọba Nàìjíríà rí ètò prove kọ́ọ̀tì náà so ọkàn mi báyìí lórí yẹn. And the main thing is that yẹ́rì nǹkan tó ṣe fún àwọn Nigeria government lọ́rọ̀ sọ wípé nǹkan ò tí ì dàrú ni tí gbogbo ẹ̀ bá dojúrú tó bá di pé gbogbo ẹ̀ dá. Ṣé rí problem ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Nigeria government yẹn bí òye ọmọdé tèmi ò ní wò pé kékeré ni tiwọn. Ṣùgbọ́n ilé tó ń ba ẹ̀mí nínú jẹ́ nìsín tó jẹ́ pé tí mo fi tó yẹ kó mú mi ronú lọ́rọ̀ Yorùbá nation wípé báwo la ṣe fẹ́ rí Yorùbá nation yẹn gbà tí Yorùbá sí Yorùbá òfin ní bára wọn tí òfin ní dogun láàrin Yorùbá sí Yorùbá bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí. Òun nìyẹn gẹ́gẹ́ ní kẹjẹ ká mójú tó dùn ṣé rí ti àwọn Nàìjíríà gómìnà kan ṣe nínú ẹ̀ o ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n yẹn ẹ mọ̀ ṣé rí ogun tó ń jàrọ̀ lábẹ́lí jẹ́rí wàhálà táwa Yorùbá sí Yorùbá táwọn fún aláàárín ara wa òun ló sì burú ju àwọn wàhálà táwọn Fúlàní ń bá wa fà. So ìyẹn gẹ́gẹ́ lèmi rí i pé ó yẹ kó tó wà so important according to my own opinion gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí mo observe. So nǹkan tẹ̀mí wò pé ó fẹ́ dàbí problem tó yẹ pé Yorùbá sí Yorùbá pé báwo la fẹ́ Yorùbá nation yẹn gbà tí òfin ní dogun láàrin Yorùbá sí Yorùbá. Ìrẹ́pọ̀ ní gẹ́gẹ́ lèmi kọ́ wà bá ẹ̀gbọ́n kó jẹ́ bó ṣe jẹ́. Àwọn tí Nigeria government yẹn ẹgbẹ́ sì tó yẹ pé àwọn international community mọ̀ Ọlọ́run máa ń gbọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n sì tó yẹ pé àwọn international community mọ̀ nǹkan tí Sunday Igboho jábọ̀ ibùkún tó bá di pé wọ́n gbọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀ lọ international country yẹn international law ní ìsìn. Wọ́n ní nǹkan tó lọ́ọ̀yà máa ní nǹkan tó lè prove as evidence fún bàbá Sunday Igboho pé kì í ṣe terrorist. So Nàìjíríà ní nǹkan tó lè fi prove against them náà so ẹ máa kí ni ẹ bọ́ kí wà lójú tí.
Ẹ ṣe gan ni. Thank you. Mo kí láti Libya ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí the next conversation ẹ gbóhùn sókè.
Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ ọmọ kí gbogbo yín o ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Kẹ́ nǹkan tó wà nílẹ̀ nínú nǹkan tẹ̀ ń sọ yìí ìbẹ̀rù kan ò sí ìfòyà kan ò sí ohun tó bá wù wọ́n kàn sọ àwọn tó sọ ipò àwọn ò ní jẹ́ kíjọba ṣeé ṣe fẹ́lòmíì nígbà tó fẹ́ gbéjọba fún wọn fẹ́lòmíì àwọn orí yìí tí wọ́n sọ o wọ́n wá sọ nísìnyí pé olóyè Igboho ṣe pé kan owó àkáǹtì ẹ má wọrí bí kò lè bá pa ni torí o lè pa ni ẹ wo ẹ̀yin olórí wa tẹ dákẹ́ ẹ túbọ̀ dákẹ́ o ẹ bá sọ̀rọ̀ sókè rárá o ṣe mọ̀ pé kò kàn yín o ẹ dákẹ́ ó bọ̀ wá bá yín ó ti dẹnu ọ̀nà yín tẹ́lẹ̀ gbèjà ọmọ yín wọ́n mú ọmọ tí wọ́n ní Amẹ́ríkà wọ́n ní kàn sọ padà lóun ránṣọ fún àwọn oníkìní yọlọ́lọ́ làwọn ìjú padà sọ́hùn ẹ̀yìn ju ti yín sílẹ̀ ẹ̀yin òṣèlú ẹ̀rọ tí pẹ̀lú máa kúrò ní láìpẹ́ o ṣé ní bàbá Jákàndé wọ́n kúrò lórí oyè wọ́n fi ìbádùn àti ìfọkànbalẹ̀ jọjọ kú wọn ẹ̀yin àwọn omi tẹ́ máa kóra yín sí pẹ̀lú ẹ̀yin àti ọmọ yín láàárín wa pẹ̀lú àwọn àtàjọ dáwọ́ kọ́lé kínní yìí tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá yá jẹ nǹkan tó yẹ kẹ́ ṣe àwọn tí ilé ní kẹ́kọ́ kọ́ pèsè kí èèyàn bá gbọ́pọ̀ ìyá ẹ̀ lójú tí bàbá ò ní túra kí o ẹ bá bàjọba yọ kankan àwọn tiwa àbọ̀ ẹ má wọ̀rì ẹ má yà gbóhùn sókè jù sí ìkẹgbọmọ yín là àmọ́ báyìí lẹ ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe rí àwọn tó bá sọ fún yín pé ẹ má darapọ̀ mọ́ yíbò ẹ lọ wò wọ́n dáadáa ọwọ́ ọmọ ó gbé ọwọ́ ọmọ Gani Adams ẹ má bàa ṣe wọ́n wá yọ táyà lẹ́yìn ẹsẹ̀ ti yín ìjà mélòó ni Yorùbá lè dájà ẹ wo ti jẹ́ táyà ń sì tí ò bá sí sí wọn ni Yorùbá ò ní bọ́ síta ọyọjọjọ wọn náà ọmọlúwàbí náà máa wí nígbà tí yíbo táǹsì náà ráyè lẹ́nu wọn kọ̀rọ̀ ráyè jáde ẹ má jọ yọ yín sílẹ̀ Yorùbá àti yíbo ẹ parapọ̀ kẹgbàrá yín lọ́wọ́ ọ̀wọ́ Fúlàní yìí ọ̀wọ́ náà gbóná jẹ gbogbo oyè káàkiri ẹ gbára yín sílẹ̀ ẹ̀yin òṣèlú wa ẹ̀yin olórí wa nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣé wọ́n fà gbọ́ burúkú rọ yín ni àbí kí ló dé ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́ kẹgbọ́n wọn ọmọ yín kí ló dé ikọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ ṣọlẹ́yẹ Ìgbòho abẹ́yìn tẹ wà ń bẹ̀ ẹ túbọ̀ múra sí o ẹ máa bẹ́ tó bọ̀.
ẹ ṣé gan ni màmá wa. Thank you very much. I always love the energy of that our mother. ẹ ti wọlé àgbọn yín. ẹ gbóhùn sókè.
mo ti wọlé ẹ kálẹ́ sà.
ẹ kálẹ́.
ẹ kálẹ́.
ẹ kálẹ́.
ẹ kújọ́ mẹ́ta.
jọkàn pẹ̀lú.
ṣé ẹ gbọ́ mi báyìí.
loud and clear.
Mo dá yín lóhùn ṣé ní gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tó ń sọ pé ṣíìpù ṣe pẹ̀lú terrorist yẹn ẹjọ́ wọn ni ẹjẹ́ kọ́ máa rú dáadáa nǹkan tó bá ń wọ̀n kọ́ fẹnu ara wọn sọ. Bàbá tó mọ̀ hero nǹkan Amẹ́ríkà gan mọ̀ lọ́wọ́ yìí pé hero Yorùbá nìyẹn. So gbogbo sí kẹ́ẹ̀bì ọ̀dìpọ̀ kó tẹ̀ kó má fòyà rárá. Ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́ move on tí Ọlọ́run á tún ti ṣe Ọlọ́run á dúró ti pẹ̀lú wàhálà tẹ̀ ṣe lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation yìí Táyọ̀ tìjú la máa fi wọnú ẹ̀ bọ́dún tó parí. Ọtí mi fẹ́ sọ fún yín.
ẹ ṣé gan ni. Thank you very much. Mo sì kí màmá wa tí wọ́n wà lórí Zoom. My system has already crashed so mo kàn try láti manage ẹ̀ tá máa fi parí broadcast. I cannot move from the screen so screen tá máa wà lórí ẹ̀ tá máa fi parí nìyẹn so I cannot change anything anymore because I've opened ẹ rí pé lókè yẹn ó ṣe pé mo ti ṣí so many bars and it's not allowing me to do anything but we can manage it just to receive the calls. So ẹ ti wọlé ẹni tó ń pè wá ní nọ́mbà yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ lórí fóònù wa so mo nílò ìdárúkọ yín. ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́. àwa ni ẹ̀wọ̀n.
mo kí yín o.
Thank you very much.
mo kí yín alẹ́ àwọn nǹkan tẹ̀ ń ṣe yẹn jọ ẹ má dáwọ́ dúró.
Okay.
I pray that may God continue to strengthen you and the rest of the agitators.
Amen.
Ẹ ṣé.
ẹ ṣé gan ni.
For federal government of Nigeria to link Baba Igboho to terrorists, ìyẹn propaganda nìyẹn. Everybody mọ̀ yẹn. The whole wide world mọ̀ yẹn. Because for Gumi to be working freely in Nigeria yẹn, and nobody talked. Even Buhari himself. For Gumi, etí mi mo fi gbogbo wa gbọ́. Tí Gumi sọ pé they were just kidnapping children for money. They don't kidnap them to kill them. They only kidnap them for money. Ní ìlú tó ní ọba tó níjòyè. For somebody to say that, tẹ́lẹ̀ dákẹ́ fẹ́m, tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn dẹ̀ tún sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ wo, it's a shame. Ìyẹn lọ, ẹ tún wá sọ kinní kan ẹ ní àwọn Yorùbá leaders and especially àwọn politicians àwọn ẹni wọ́n bẹ̀rù Fúlàní. Ẹ wo, ẹ ti gbà tán. Tipẹ́ wọ́n ti ń bẹ̀rù Fúlàní. Yes. Tí àwọn gan bá ń gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tá a sọ yìí kan máa gbọ́. Yoruba politicians, you are afraid of Fulani. You are afraid of Hausa. 3 tribes la ní Nigeria. Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. Fulani ò sí ní picture rárá. They are minority. Now they are majority. Now they want to be in control of the whole white thing. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń wò, ẹ dákẹ́. Èmi àti ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan sọ̀rọ̀ a ní ewékoro kíní kan sìmẹ́ǹtì. Ó ní wọ́n ti gbé fún Dangote tipẹ́tipẹ́. Mo ní wàá ó yẹ sọ fún mi. Ṣé kò sí Yorùbá kankan tó tiẹ̀ ní owó rárá láti ra ibẹ̀ yẹn tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n tà á àbí wọ́n whatever kan ṣe? Tí Yorùbá kan ò dẹ̀ sọ pé you know what? No, this ewékoro is in Yoruba land. We are not letting Dangote take over it. Ṣé rí pé a ní leader rárá? A ní leader o. And if they cannot fight for their people, they should get out of the way. That is it. If they cannot protect the interests of Yoruba, race, Yoruba people, they should get out of their office. Mo kàn rí bọ́dà pé wọ́n kàn wá ń bẹ̀. Kàn gba owó tí wọ́n kàn máa lọ. Sìmẹ́ǹtì wà ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹgbẹ́ fún Dangote kọ́ máa rán ọ̀nù ẹ̀ for what? Ṣé kò sí Yorùbá kankan tó lówó ni láti take over that place?
What?
It's a shame. It's a fact. Nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ yẹn is a big shame. Mo kàn rí pé ìjà yìí ó dà káwọn leaders yẹn la máa kọ́kọ́ mú kúrò lọ.
Okay.
I think ó dà pé yẹn ni.
I keep hearing that all the time, so we see how it goes.
That is it.
Okay, all right. Ẹ ṣe gan ni màmá wa.
Wọ́n rò tó ń lẹ̀ wọ́n ní sọ.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ẹ máa gbọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan.
Mo ń wo Ṣèyí Mákindé lánàá lórí Channels Television Ọ̀kínbalóye. They are still playing politics. Wọ́n rò pé politics ni gbogbo tá a ṣe ń ṣe yìí. Ẹ ń sọ̀rọ̀ PDP, ẹ ń sọ̀rọ̀ APC, ẹ ń sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ keep Nàìjíríà together. A ní Nàìjíríà ò kì í ṣe tara wa. Ẹ sì sọ pé fẹ́ keep ẹ lè force wa into this union.
Wọ́n ní àwọn British wá sílẹ̀ Lagos State ní táìmù kan. Wọ́n ní wọn lọ sí ilé ọba.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Láyé fún owó Sanwó-Olú. Wọ́n ní
ó dùn mí tí system tí ó ti pack up nínú bá fi bọ̀bọ̀ tí máa fi wọ̀nyí yẹn òyìnbó yẹn bá fi wọ̀nyí ó wà nínú meeting àwọn INEC lánàá bọ̀bọ̀ òyìnbó bí ojú òwìwí yẹn ó wà nínú ìjókòó pẹ̀lú àwọn INEC lánàá ó kọ̀ dùn mí pé system ti crash níbi àyẹ̀dẹ̀ ọ̀la ẹ ṣé gan ni màmá wa.
àwọn àní leaders kankan ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bó ti wù kó mọ́. Ọ̀nkú mi ẹni àti wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀, ó ní tó bá bí Yorùbá kan dà kọ́ lòun lọ sí ilẹ̀ Haúsá, òun lọ jẹ́ kíngì kan. Ó ní wọ́n máa fún lọ́rùn pa kílẹ̀ tó mọ̀ ní ó ní wọ́n máa pa and that is the fact. Ní Nàìjíríà yẹn tí mo wà, Haúsá gẹ̀tìmánù wa. Torí pé wọ́n láwùsá àti Yorùbá ń jà ní mile 12. Ó jẹ́ wá yọ àdá sí mi. Mo sá eré mo ní ṣé ní Haúsá ṣe rí rèé? Ẹni tó jẹ́ pé tíyàwó ìyàwó ẹ̀ bá wá láti ìlú yẹn máa fún láṣọ. Tọkọ mi bá dé láti US wọ́n máa fún láṣọ. A máa ṣe bíi family. Àdá torí pé Haúsá àti Igbo Haúsá àti Yorùbá ń jà mile 12. Ó wá yọ àdá sí ẹ̀wò. Àti ìgbà yẹn mo ti mọ̀ pé àwọn pípù yóò ṣe èèyàn. Wọ́n ṣe àfihàn lè bá gbélé. Rárá àtọ̀. Àwọn Yorùbá airlines tiwa kọ́ jọ títorí Ọlọ́run. Kọ́ yẹ fún wọn ní oyè tó fún wọn yẹn wọ́n fi tó fún wọn ní sovereign of kìíní kan in each state yẹn kó stop that nonsense. Kó stop ẹ̀ àwọn pípù yẹn fi ń jọba nínú ilẹ̀ yẹn ni wọ́n fi ṣe nonsense ni wọ́n fi kó wa lẹ́rú àmọ́ ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú mi.
Thank you very much. Ẹ ṣé gan ni màmá wa. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. We're just 15 minutes away, so I'm trying to manage time here. Like I said, my system has crashed. As you can see, I can't move anything. But at least link to show renew military offensive, bandits going nowhere. That is what Gumi was telling us some few months ago. Let us also continue to know that it doesn't matter what game is being played by our Yoruba politicians to suppress us as people so that we will not ask or determine our way of how we want to live, whether we want to be part of Nigeria or not. Hello, caller. Network me. Location 9. Hello? Bí a can move a little bit from the location tẹ́ wà yẹn kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sún lọ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ díẹ̀ kò sá gbọ́yìn rárá. Ẹ má bínú tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ wa ẹ̀yin move kúrò níbẹ̀ yẹn bí a kẹ́ lọ sínú bathroom àbí kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ jáde sí outside the veranda. These are the problems that our people are facing. There's so many problems people are facing on a daily basis. But the first thing is we must all not lose focus. I've said this since last year. They will throw a lot of things at individuals, groups, and everyone. Not literally our town sorrow nìkan. People think maybe after our town sorrow nìkan. Even within the WhatsApp group. I mean, I hardly have time to read every WhatsApp group now because the messages is just, I can't catch up. I have about 6,150 unread messages. But all I can say is, let us start thinking positively how we can work within that local government. Not literally the whole state. Because when it's going to erupt, we want to make sure that every part of Yoruba land erupts simultaneously. Simon Ekpa to Solano. INEC is now the enemy of their own. Bí a ti bá wá lọ́la, màá ti prepare that ibi tó ti sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Pé revolution là ń jà. INEC is not allowed to come to Anambra next month. Ẹ lọ gbọ́ àwọn Simon Ekpa. I was watching that about 4 a.m. this morning. But I actually feel pé it's a joke. We are fighting. It's revolution là ń jà. Ìjà tá à ń ṣe lójoojúmọ́ revolution ni now. So let's go straight to Mr. Ibrahim as we're just winding down. Hello, caller. Ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè. Àwa ni ẹ. À ń gbọ́ yín.
Ẹ ṣe ń gan ẹgbẹ́ iṣẹ́ dàbùdàbù tẹ̀ ṣe. Ọmọ lórí o. Ṣé rí ibi tá à ń lọ òye o? Kò sí ẹ̀dá kankan tó. We know the game play that the British and the Western world they are playing with this us. We know. Àwọn Fúlàní òkú bẹ́ẹ̀ láti lè máa kọ gbogbo rọ́bìsì rẹ̀. I believe that àwọn British ló wà lẹ́yìn wọn. Wọ́n sọ gbogbo nọ́ọ̀sẹ̀sì yẹn jáde. Nítorí kí ni? Dangote fúnra rẹ̀ àbí Bua ẹni tó ní Bua. Those two businessmen ọwọ́ wọn wà lẹ́ni tó sponsor àwọn Boko Haram. Tẹ̀wá wo dada psychologically tẹ̀wá study dada ẹ máa mọ̀ pé those two people those two prominent Hausa Fulani man always behind or sponsoring Boko Haram. Also ṣẹlẹtẹrẹ tẹ̀lé ti jáde. So ọtí mọ̀ ní pé ibi tá à ń lọ ó ti clear sí the whole world. Ibi tá à ń lọ ó ti clear sí the whole world. So ó fẹ́ wá ọ̀nà méjì àdéhùn mẹ́ta láti lè fi tájì wa ṣé àwọn lè ọmọ á lọ sẹ̀mí pẹ̀lú international community international criminal court lóde ẹni tó ń gbà ìjàgbára lóde criminal mi ó sponsor Boko Haram. Pẹ̀lú ilé international ICC they are watching all what is going on. They are watching. Ìkọ̀kọ̀ ìwò ni FIDA they are not interested in all those things that are not already. FIDA don go there so that they sit down and take the necessary action. Ìkọ̀kọ̀ ń dédé nìyẹn. Àdènà àwọn ọba àti àwọn balógun wa àti àwọn balẹ̀ wa. Àwọn òbí àwọn Fúlàní, àwọn òbí àwọn play politics pẹ̀lú wọn. Àwọn mọ̀ pé àgbéǹdà bàbá àwọn òṣùwọ̀dà fọ́díò òun ló wà lórí ẹ̀mí wọn. How to take this Nigeria òun ló wà lórí ẹ̀mí wọn. Sọ́rí gbogbo àwọn custom immigration minister of communication minister gbogbo àwọn strategic position tó wà ní Nàìjíríà lónìí àwọn Fúlàní àwọn lọ́wọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ díẹ̀. So kíkọ táwọn bá lè ṣe kíkọ táwọn politician ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lè ṣe let us disintegrate out of this country. Because towards the 2022 according to Ọbájẹ́ Malafia only say there will be a civil war and this is a message to the whole world and this is a message to all the prominent Yoruba people, elders, leaders, politicians and others. That there will be a civil war. And if they don't understand the game play, rather they are not interested. The way they must go after Peru, àwọn ọba yìí wá, òun ni àwọn politicians yìí wọ́n wá ọ̀dọ̀mọ̀kọ́ tó ń bọ̀. Ọ̀dọ̀mọ̀kọ́ tó ń bọ̀ because this is the first generation. The first generation has already gone. The second generation has already gone. This is the third generation. We will not allow this third generation to do what? To go on.
Thank you very much. Bàbá wa tí wọ́n máa ń fi ohùn bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹgbọ́n sókè láti South Africa. Ẹ bá tètè ṣe é torí ètò tó wálẹ̀. Kálẹ̀ sà.
Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ náà, ẹ kú ètò.
Ètò ni ẹ sà.
Mo fẹ́ sọ kankan fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá.
À ń gbọ́ yín sà.
Kí àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. Àwọn tí wọ́n bá ti mọ̀ kan lè mọ̀. Àwọn tó bá dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ kán máa take it for granted. Ṣé rí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ní Nàìjíríà yìí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. It's about Hausa, it's about Fulani versus Yoruba and Igbo. Òun ni wàhálà tó wà ní Nàìjíríà báyìí. Ṣé ráwọn pípì yìí? Nǹkan tó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n wá ń lo àwọn ọ̀dàlẹ̀ láàrin ilẹ̀ Yorùbá láti against Yorùbá àti àwọn ọ̀dàlẹ̀ láàrin ilẹ̀ Igbo láti against ilẹ̀ Igbo. Àwọn fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀, wọ́n fẹ́ dominate ni. Àwọn fẹ́ máa rule, wọn ò fẹ́ kúrò ní ipò agbára. Wọ́n fẹ́ di ipò agbára mú for as long as possible, for as long as they want. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tó jẹ́ leader wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá bí àwọn governors, àwọn ọba, àwọn senator, àwọn ministers wa, gbogbo wọn they are still under bondage of one Nigeria. Wọn ò mọ nǹkan tó ń bọ̀, wọn ò mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, wọn ò mọ plan àwọn Fúlàní. Àwọn Fúlàní tẹ́ pé wọn ò kì í ṣe ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n wá from somewhere. Ṣé understand? Wọ́n wá take over ilẹ̀ mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́, wọ́n dẹ̀ tún claim ẹ̀ fún yín wípé àwọn ni first class citizen. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tó jẹ́ leaders wa, they see nothing wrong about that statement. Up till now, imagine kó máa líǹkì Bàbá Ìgbòho mọ́ terrorists. Láti ọjọ́ yẹn, wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ní more than 400 list. Àwọn tó wà involved ní terrorists. Láti ọjọ́ yìí, wọ́n gbé wọn síta, wọ́n gbé picture yàn kan síta, wọ́n mú orúkọ yàn kan síta. Nígbà tí Dubai, tí wọ́n mú èèyàn 6 ní Dubai nígbà yẹn, wọ́n sáré rán Àbíkẹ́ Dábírí tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá láti lọ gbà wọ́n wá sí Nàìjíríà láti cover up nísìn yẹn. Adẹ̀sí náà àwọn Yorùbá tó dẹ̀ sì pera wọn ní politicians tó dẹ̀ sì ń ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn pípì tó sì ń bá wọn jẹ tó dẹ̀ sì ń fi pé all is well. Ṣé is it not high time for us Yorùbás, especially those politicians, those people that call themselves politicians, to think twice and come back to their senses and know what these people are planning for the whole country. This same way náà ni Afghanistan ṣe ṣẹlẹ̀ o láti more than 20 years tó yẹ pé àwọn America àti international community they are rubbing hands with them. Terrorists, we are dealing with terrorists until terrorists gba ilẹ̀ mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ lójú oníkálukú tó ká tó fi lé Amẹ́ríkà tẹ̀fẹ̀tẹ̀fẹ̀ kúrò níbẹ̀ yẹn. Amẹ́ríkà ò lè dúró. Ṣé the same thing náà làwọn politicians wà fẹ́ kó ṣe ní Nàìjíríà ni?
Ẹ ṣé gan ni torí àsìkò ni because like I said 7 o'clock is when we plan to bring the program down and I'm just winding up now. I would like to appreciate everyone that have stayed tuned closely with this particular conversation. Again, is a response back to the federal government and is Attorney General Federation, a Fulani man that wants to dominate a Yoruba man. And that's what they've done for a very long time. And we will not tolerate, we will not allow Emma Binu and Tobarayekme. I'm sure there will always be some other time. As we're going with the joyful news of that breaking news of our sister, I'm not going to take any more calls. Emma Binu, the last caller was the last person that called. Let us also remember that we still have the dead bodies of Alhaji Adesa Adogon that is still not been returned. Also the animals, just also as properties and damage done to Chief Sunday Igboho. They've now added extra to it by telling us, Awomo Yoruba, there's a link between Chief Sunday Igboho and Boko Haram. That is a total disrespect to not just him, but to every single one of us. And those Yoruba politicians, you are more concerned about today. You are more concerned about now. You are not worried about tomorrow. You are not worried about the next generation. Our concern, most of you are educated. Associate Makinde lórí channels lánàá. Ó ń sọ̀rọ̀ politics, but ó ti gbàgbé pé tóun náà bá lọ, wàá wá fi problem sílẹ̀ fáwọn Yorùbá tó kù. Just like every one of them, They are more concerned about the position of the Munisi and thinking that they can play along the line with this other terrorist ethnic group known as the Fulani. And you can see how they played Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of those that you are thinking it has not come to them yet. We will not allow even Showore to be disrespected, not to talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, not to talk about Chief Sunday Igboho, not to talk about anybody. Daddy Yatta, àwọn tí ẹ mọ̀, Kaduna ló wà tó ń bá wọn jà, tó ń bá wọn fi igbá gbìgbìgbì. But at the end of the day, 2 years now, àmọ́bi tó wà. Ìjẹ́ mọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn mẹ́ẹ̀, ìtọ́ ti padà nù, ìtọ́ ti lé dànù. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, tá bá ní ká kúrò, á ti wà lórí ilẹ̀ wa. Tá bá ti jáde bá sínú Nàìjíríà mọ́, àwa la máa ní boundary wa, a máa secure border wa. Just like tó bá fẹ́ wọ United Kingdom, kò bá jẹ́ orí omi ló fẹ́ gbà wọlé, wọ́n ní security níbẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé o máa fò wọlé ni, ìwọ náà kó tó kúrò nílùú tó ti ń bọ̀, wà ní visa lọ́wọ́. Visa yẹn gan kò guarantee pé o máa wọnú ilé. But tí passport British bá wà lọ́wọ́ wọ, ó guarantee wọ láti go around the world. Ìyẹn la ṣe sọ pé ká dúró tán nísìn. Ẹ má rò pé ó máa pẹ́ lẹ́yìn kan ṣe ń sá sẹ́yìn. Ẹ má rò pé bá ṣe ń sọ like presentation wa, like pé a ní a máa jà. Ẹ jẹ́ n sọ fún yín, a máa jà gidi tá máa fi kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Nítorí pé Fúlàní ò ready láti gbéjọba yẹn sílẹ̀. Àwa dẹ̀ kọ́ wojú tàwa dáadáa, ẹ wojú mi dáadáa, Ọláyọmí Kóìkì lèmi jẹ́, pé àníjà yẹn, ẹ ti tẹ́ dànù. Ẹni tó ò bá níjà, á jókòó sí abroad. Àwọn tó bá wà nílé, tó bá mọ̀ pé ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ ò ní gbé nígbà tó bá tó àsìkò yẹn, wàá lọ sí the nearest border. But tó ò bá lọ sí the nearest border tó ò fẹ́ lọ yẹn, lọ́ máa lé ẹ lọ gbẹ̀yìn. Nítorí pé Fúlàní sì máa wá kanlẹ̀kùn ilé gbogbo wa. Ẹ má rò pé kí ni mò ń sọ pé máa wá kanlẹ̀kùn gbogbo ilé wa. They will control, nothing control already. But tá bá fún wọn láyè sí, tá à ń lọ jẹ́ káwọn Yorùbá fún wọn ní àyè pé ká lọ ṣe election 2023. Tó bá gba 2023, torí kékeré ni ẹ̀ ń rí tí wọ́n sọ pé gàrí ti di kinní kan, ẹ̀pà ti di kinní kan, báàgì ẹ̀wà di kinní kan. Ó máa le jù yẹn lọ. That means pé wọ́n ti wá bẹ́ẹ̀ nínú yàrá nìyẹn láì lájáde lọ bá wọn. So it is entirely up to every one of us to come together and let us say no. And those of you that say we can go without a fight, I agree. There's no problem. Tẹ́ bá ti mọ̀ ọ̀nà tá lè fi lọ without a fight. But for me, èmi, Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, èmi mọ̀ pé lótìtọ́ lódodo Ọlọ́run ń bẹ, a dẹ̀ ń pè, whether oní Kristẹni, Mùsùlùmí, oníṣẹ̀ṣe, à ń bá sọ̀rọ̀. But ẹ jẹ́ kí energy yẹn kó lọ sókè díẹ̀ sí, ká communicate, kó fi ọ̀nà wọ̀n wá, ká lè tètè kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Tá a bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, oyún inú àjẹgba, ẹni tó ti bí àjẹgba. Nítorí pé àwọn politicians yẹn, they are not just ready to let go. Tí bá ní àwọn politicians, àwọn Yorùbá politicians olórí burúkú tó ń káàkiri bí ẹ̀ṣọ́ oníwèé mọ̀, tó ń fìyà jẹ gbogbo yín lọ́tùn lósì, tó sọ gbogbo yín di ẹran adìlẹ̀. Ọmọ ọlọ́lá ni wá, àwa la ní orí ilẹ̀ wa. A lè decide tá bá fẹ́ ṣe, tá bá fẹ́ kọ́ 300 skyscraper. Gbogbo ìtàn náà ti ń kọ́ látijọ́ ìbò lọ́kọ sí. Gbogbo yín wá ń gbé nínú ìgbẹ́. Whereas owó wa, òun ni àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n fi ń ṣayé, lọ́ fi ń gbádùn, ni gbogbo wọn fi ń gbádùn. Àwọn olórí burúkú bastard tó ń sọ pé àwọn ò lè ṣe business, a lè ṣokòwò in tons of billions of naira. Wọ́n wá jáde, wọ́n ní Ìgbòho ní 300 transaction, kíní kan transaction. Ẹ ní ṣoríire gbogbo yín. Have a very good evening and bye for now.